Hello and welcome to the Elevate Sales Success podcast series. We want to bring you a lot of information that's all about sales through this series. Today, I have with me on the podcast Michael Griffin, founder and CEO of Elevate Global. Mike's in Jakarta. Apa kabar, Mike?
Apa kabar? Baik. Pollution high here, so I'm heading back to Singapore later today.
That is nice. It's good to be back home, isn't that? So,
Exactly. Yes.
Mike, thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy when you're traveling. Today, I wanted to use up the time we have to just discuss with you about and give our and kind of go into your experience, share some of mine so that our audience has a better understanding of the sales career, sales profession, and essentially help them learn. And I think it would give you an opportunity to share your learnings, disseminate information, and allow people to succeed based on our experiences. Does that sound okay to you?
Yes, we're both very experienced, and I'd love to share. I love sales. It's a great career, so let's move with it.
Thank you so much. My first question would be, tell us a little more about Michael Griffin. Give us that introduction of who you are and what brings you into this world of sales.
Well, first, Abhi, you know me. You've known me for many years. I love to sell. In fact, if I could dump all my jobs and just sell and work with customers to help them succeed, I'd be pretty happy. I started selling when I was 12 years old. I had a bit of a landscaping, lawn cutting business and had to persuade the neighbors in my neighborhood to cut their grass. I then found that I could speak publicly. I aced every public speaking engagement that I did in grade school or high school. So the combination of persuasion with public speaking showed me that I'm a people person, even though my degree is in forestry. So forestry got me to Southeast Asia, where I found I was immediately training people. And this led me to a career in training and development where I have to sell to B2B customers. I've been very successful doing this across Indonesia, India, Singapore, Malaysia, and Vietnam, where I've set up companies. And I just love helping companies and individuals succeed in their corporate vision, succeed in being competitive. So here I am many years later in Asia, just loving what I do. Over to you, Abhi. Tell me about you. You've had a very successful career.
Yeah, and I'll take the cue. You've brought together, what is it, almost 30 years of experience in less than a couple of minutes. So I'll try to bring mine down and use the same cue. So you did forestry, I did mechanical engineering. I was a student of mechanical engineering, and to pay for bills, I started being a retail salesman in Houston. Then I took on sort of the education vertical, B2B sales, then moved to Asia. That's when you and I first met, and that goes back almost 20 years now, in Indonesia, Singapore, and then Hong Kong now for the last decade or so. And pretty much the career has been B2B sales, really focused on selling services. I've sold product. I've managed large accounts. I've managed sort of the regional business across Asia. I've managed a team in Japan, China, so kind of all over the place. And really, what's made me, I would say, feel fulfilled is the fact that I've become a lot richer in life with the diversity of those experiences and the people around me. And so that's me. That's me.
That's you. Yeah. Yeah, you've been a cross-cultural salesman for a long time. And it's amazing we've known each other for 20 years. So I think we want to talk about how a salesperson might, how a person might become a salesperson as a career. What do you think? What do you think?
And it's a question that comes across from both the people aspiring to get into this job, this profession. They say, oh, wow, it's so cool to be a salesperson, or, oh my God, it's too pressurizing. And people are like, they're not entirely certain. And I also hear managers who ask, can this person sell? Is this person cut out for it? So I thought, if we can keep and if you look at the internet, there's a lot of material out there, 10 things that salespeople need, 15. But if we can just simplify it, go into our experiences a little bit, simplify it to say the top 2 or 3 things, right? And I'll probably throw out some of the ideas I have, and then maybe you get
Yep.
yours and we'll crystallize them. So I was always of the opinion that attitude comes first, and you've got to have attitude. Yeah, you've got to have personality, you've got to have the skills and competence. It's sort of the ideas I had in my head, but I really also want to delve into your background and say what do you think are those defining traits, the 2 or 3 that we want to kind of let people know?
Yeah, and I must admit I've interviewed thousands of potential salespeople and failed a lot. And what I found though, on the salespeople that really can sell, like you, I know you can do it, is number one is attitude. Having a positive attitude to help people, help companies, organizations be successful, both the individual or the committee you're dealing with, as well as the organization. So that attitude to help people win, help people succeed is crucial. It's not
So
it's just not about money. It's just not about commission. Attitude's number
absolutely,
one. What do you
absolutely.
think?
Someone said it, and I heard it, not too long ago. When you're in sales, you don't play to win, but you play to make your customer win.
Exactly. I completely agree with that. It's a
So
win-win.
the positive attitude and an attitude of win-win is key. Is that a fair assessment and summary of that?
Yeah, customers, especially B2B customers, can smell if you're pushing the sale to get your commission or meet that target. They can smell that. But when they have the fragrance of you wanting to help them win, solve their problems in their organization, this creates a good relationship. And as you know, in Asia selling, no trusting relationship, no sale.
Absolutely. And I really like that smell and fragrance part. I'm going to steal that and use that somewhere, Mike. Thank you. With the attitude. So positivity, win-win, and on attitude, with that sorted, is there another area that you wanna think of that would be like a very key defining trait for an individual to kind of self-evaluate, or for a manager to evaluate?
Uh, a little bit of a segue. If I see the good attitude, the next thing I want to check is the attitude of teachability. That the salesperson is hungry to learn, will accept coaching and teaching from, let's say, a sales manager or his colleagues, in a team setting, that he may compete, but he also cooperates. So co-opetition. So that teachability is a second attitude issue that I think is extremely important. Don't hire a salesperson who thinks he's to mankind. Now with that, if he's teachable, we move to the next area that you talked about, which was skill. I look for the teachability so the salesperson can be trained and taught to be a world-class salesperson, not just a Indonesian, Singaporean, whatever, but I want world-class potential in my salespeople and teach them the skills of selling. So that's important. Probably the number one skill that I see in an interview and check out, can the potential candidate or sales person that I may hire, can he or she ask good questions and carry a conversation, a business conversation with me, who might be a typical customer, older, senior, etc. So that ability to hold a discussion, not be a child, be adult to adult, and ask good questions. What do you think?
It's a very interesting perspective. I used to think skills, but I think I'm now going to adopt what you just said. The skills can be acquired, they can be taught, but it's the willingness
Yes.
to learn is the key, right? Because if you don't have willingness to learn, you would, no amount of skill training, coaching, not, it's going to help. So I think I'm going to take that willingness to learn as sort of the number 2 sort of metric of evaluation, self-evaluation. And I also like that other part that you were talking about, holding a conversation. I'd like to think of it as what the third most important factor, that is confidence, right? A fundamental belief in yourself, in the product or
Yes.
service you're selling, and the other
Ah,
party, right? Is
yes,
that
I
okay?
agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I once early in my sales career, right out of college, I had a sales job. I didn't do well because I did not believe in the product. I didn't last long. I quit actually. You got to believe in your product and link the product to your helpfulness, that my product will offer a solution to solve the customer's problem to help the customer win.
Yes, of course. And that's key. That conviction that comes from within, right? That's super important. And if I then just summarize these three pieces and kind of look at it from an individual perspective, if I'm an individual evaluating myself and my suitability for sales, would I be able to go in and say, can I just do a self check? What's my general attitude to life? Do I look at things from a positive light, or do I look at things
Yep.
from the not so positive light? Am I a person who's really hungry to learn and accepting to learn? Or am I a person who sort of needs too much credibility to be built for me to buy into anything? And finally, am I a person who believes, and is this product that I want to sell, is this company I want to go work for, is this something I believe in, or am I just doing it for the money? And if I can evaluate myself on those three metrics, do you think I'm then doing justice to saying whether this career is good for me?
Yeah. Again, we're getting each other thinking and brainstorming here. Uh, this also links to, if I may say, personality, which you mentioned earlier. Uh, I think good salespeople have to be decent communicators and leaders. They have to have that ability to communicate and lead, uh, because salespeople lead customers to win-win outcomes, lead customers and navigate them. So a bit of an extrovert communicator with the potential to lead without position, because salespeople aren't the boss in a sales situation. They have to have that ability to communicate and lead. What do you think about that?
Yeah, communication. I think that's like essential across the board, right? I mean, if you
Skill, yeah,
don't,
skill communication.
yeah, I would have thought that's the number one skill everybody should learn before they leave university
I
or college,
agree.
right?
And
Uh,
they don't teach it very well, do they? Yeah, a lot of people miss it. Yeah.
let me use that point and ask you this question. Does Elevate Global have any programs that help people, not just salespeople, but improve the communication? Just this is just a curious question from me, Mike.
Yeah, we use in 1997 I went back to America to look for some profiles, behavioral, personality, motivational profiles, because I wanted to be able to lift the mask during sales interviews where I'm interviewing salespeople, to lift the mask, because they all come with a mask, they want to get the job. So I came across TTISI's DISC and motivator profile, which gives me a good handle on what type of communicator will this person be in sales or as a leader. And many times after doing the DISC profile, where I share it with the candidate or the potential salesperson, I may find that they're not cut out for a B2B sales job. Maybe they're better in customer service, or maybe they're better in a product area than a intangible area. So we use DISC and motivator profiling from TTI, which is great, because every profile is a winner. It's not like you're good or you're not good, but it helps helps them evaluate, should they get into a career of, in this case, B2B sales.
That is actually, and sorry, you struck too many ideas in my head as you were saying. You're saying you're able to sit down in a interview and make an assessment of whether this how this person will communicate and what their
Mm.
preferences are in their communication style, whether it's suitable for sales or not. Did I get that
Mhm.
correctly?
Yeah, and their heart. So behavior is, from the mouth and the body, but you also got to check their heart. That helpfulness, the ability to be efficient in sales is a big one. Being efficient as a salesperson is crucial. Not waste time or money, move the deal ahead, move the sales process ahead is crucial. So we look at both the behavior and their heart. So the two come together to synergize whether you would be good in sales or not.
So this is a very interesting area, and I at some point in our conversations, hopefully, I want to specifically address just this, how these assessments work and their benefits and things like that. But I'm now going to say, okay, we've captured, say, the three important areas around, the willingness to learn, your attitude, your confidence. I want to just also delve in a little bit. Yes, I checked those three boxes, and yes, we've gotten, we're able to assess the person is got these three, the motivations are correct, the person can actually communicate correctly. But does that mean a salesperson is a salesperson in every situation, or do we still think that there are variants of the salesperson? I mean, I'd like to think, and just this is from me having teams in different times, different geographies, not all salespeople are equal. So I want to just get your thoughts on that, just understand that a little bit.
Well, I'd rather say all salespeople are unique, and they may have some strengths in certain areas. So, for example, Abhi, you've managed salespeople across cultures, both country and organizational cultures. You do find some salespeople are better farmers, that they're better at nurturing existing accounts, maintaining a harmonious relationship, and possibly making recommendations to the customer to expand business. Then we have hunters. I'm a hunter. I like to hunt. Hunting is more difficult, it's more challenging, but it fits my personality. But not every salesperson can hunt. Then you have already mentioned you've handled large accounts. Large accounts, you have to be a bit of an orchestrator, both across the organization, maybe across a country or countries, to orchestrate the different decision makers and influencers, as well as back inside your company at the hidden dimension, to maybe deal with so farmers nurturing a relationship, making recommendations, hunters finding those new accounts and cracking them, and then the large account executive or salesperson like you, who is like a strategic orchestrator, having to manage many people across a large geography and also in your company. What do you think about that? What's your opinion?
This is quite exciting, and I can relate to it, just having seen situations where I've actually looked at a person and gone like, wow, this guy is so great at relationships, but he's kind of shy to go out and make a new relationship. That right? And this is so, this is very, very interesting. But I know we're coming up here on time, and I know in Jakarta you've got the lunch with the CEO briefing lunch coming up. So I want to take this particular area, Mike, and set it up for our immediate next conversation, because I think this is where both our viewers, whether they're individuals or whether they're managers, can make a good assessment of what type of sales roles they would fit in. So would that be something you can come in, and if you had any research to share there, would that be something you can speak with the next time we get together?
Yes, I can share the dismotivator combination that makes a good salesperson, generally speaking, and then we can subdivide it into hunters, farmers, large account managers, and maybe product specialists or something. But let's look at that research, because the thoroughbred or top competencies of each of those are quite different. So let's do that our next podcast, shall we?
Excellent. I look forward to that. And Mike, today, thank you so much. You've helped us crystallize. We need the right attitude. We need a person with the willingness, and we need the person with the confidence and conviction, and that to define in sales. Thank you so much for sharing. And I can't wait to catch you again in our next meeting to learn more about the different sales types. Thank you, Mike, and to our audience today. Thank you for tuning in. We hope this has been informative. If you like this, give us a like button, subscribe to our channel, and we'll look forward to speaking with you on our next podcast. Thank you, everybody.